Hello YouTube viewers and welcome to my channel. What chain gang? I need to start doing my introduction right, but I'm in the car watching my surroundings, people pulling up and driving all over the place, so yeah. But anyways, let me redo that. Hello YouTube viewers and welcome to my channel. What chain gang? Alright guys, so I am back with another video. God been weighing heavy on me with this video. So I was like, let me just go in here, you know what I'm saying. Get in the shower, put some clothes on, and come out to the car and do this video. Because my son is, of course, here. And I wanted to have peace and quiet. So I came outside to do the video in my car. So, this video is pretty much going to be about how God got me up out that gym. Okay? So, as I was telling y'all in the last video, I pretty much was giving y'all background on how I pretty much got to the point that I'm at now, which is me living in a different state, and God pretty much uprooting me and leading me to move out of state. So, as I told you guys briefly in my last video, I went through an eviction. So, in my last place of residency, I was filed on for an eviction. But I'm going to pretty much share with you guys how God got me up out that gym. He got me up out that situation. So as I was stating before, if God sent you there, he gonna get you out of there. So like if God sent you to a place or sent you to you know, if God sent you to go to a certain place, like whether that's to move, to work, whatever, he's going to provide the provision. And when it's time to separate or when it's time for their door to close, he's going to make sure that there's no traces left behind. Like he's going to make sure that you good. Like he going to get you up out that situation because he placed you in that situation. He's going to provide the way out, as well as provide through it. Okay, so all right, so boom, before I knew that God was relocating me, of course I was still trying to do things in my own, you know, strength, my own way. I wanted things to go the way that I wanted them to go. So this was before I had like completely surrendered to God or whatever. I still was trying to do what I wanted to do. So prime example, I still was not trying to let go of the young man that I was dealing with. Okay, I'm like, Lord, I already know if I surrender, I'm gonna have to like stop having sex. I'm gonna have to leave this particular person alone, and I wasn't ready for that. Like I said, dude had me wrapped around his finger. Okay, and so I'll never forget. So around this particular time, so as I'm going through this whole process of about to pretty much lose everything, right? I'm about to lose my place. I remember when I was applying for all these different apartments and stuff. Well, I was pretty much applying for houses. I was really trying to get a house because I always had said that whenever I moved out of that particular place, because it was like it was an apartment home, so it was like a townhouse. I had my own entrance, my own porch, washer and dryer, all that. So it was like a townhouse pretty much, right? And so I always stated that whenever I moved again, it was going to be into a house, but it wasn't going to be like a rented house. It was a house that I wanted to own, right? And so at this particular time, like I said, I was going through an eviction. So I'm like, Lord, I'm finna just go ahead and try to beat the courts to the punch, because if I go through this court process, baby, and that eviction show up, it's over with. Like, I ain't gonna be able to get nothing. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be pretty much at a standstill for the next 10 years unless I find a private landlord, because in Illinois, it used to be 7 years, but I think it's 10 years now, the eviction. If you get evicted, it stays on your public record. And it don't matter if it was a judgment or not, like it's still gonna show up. So I'm trying to look for places. I'm like in a crunch, right? So my lease was up. So it's just crazy. So like I told y'all before, they ended up sending me a non-renewal letter in August. My lease was up in October, like literally October 4th, I believe. And so when I told y'all I went out of town with my little boo thing, and God spoke to me clearly that I was going to be getting evicted. I was going to be getting an eviction letter had I went out of town. And when I, sure enough, came back from that trip, not even a couple of days later, I was served with an eviction notice. So that was around the end of September. So literally a couple of weeks. No, it was like on, I want to say, the 27th of September. And again, my lease was up October 4th. Okay. So I'm still trying to find a place. I'm still looking for a place. I'm like, come on, like somebody approve me before this process get to started. You know what I'm saying? And so when they filed on me now, it's in, public records as a filing, right? And so they moved so quick while I was staying there, like, cause I was in the suburbs, and it was kind of small in a way. It was big, but it was small. But their court system was A1, baby. You get filed, ain't no dragging it out. You know how people try to go through evictions, but they know that it's gonna take a while to get a court date. No, baby. They filed on the 27th or around like the 20th something in September, and I had my court date by the end of September. Like they literally told me my court date was October 3rd and my lease was up October 4th. I'm talking about moved quickly. Okay. So my court date, my eviction court date was literally the day before my lease was up. So when I ended up getting served and I tried to do like the rental assistance, court-based rental assistance application, I talked to the office, and then the lady who was over the finances at that time, she was so sweet. And she really like worked with me when I was staying there for their 4 years. But she actually was getting a promotion and was going to a different site. And she pretty much told me like, it's out of my hands. They're saying that they're not willing to take any assistance. Because you have been late more than 5 times. Like I think they only gave you like 5 times to be late on your rent. But had I not got to the point where it was eviction, I don't think that they would have gave me the non-renewal. But again, I just know this was all God's doing, because he, like I said, he was closing that door. Had he not done that, I would have still been in Illinois right now. You know what I'm saying? And so it hurt it in the moment, but God worked things together for his good at the end of the day. And what needed to happen happened so that he can get me to the place that I am now, right? And so she pretty much was just like, yeah, they're not willing to take the assistance, so there's nothing I could do. And so I was just like, okay. So I couldn't get mad at her, whatever. It is what it is. It's business, you know what I'm saying? So I remember it's a pastor by the name of Marcus Rogers. Okay, he's in Chicago. He got a church in Chicago. I'm pretty sure y'all know him around YouTube because he got a YouTube channel and he on there often, okay? And so Marcus Rogers had posted that the grand opening for his well, not the grand opening, but the groundbreaking ceremony for the sanctuary of his church was to be open on October 1st. And so he pretty much put a post out and was just like, so they had already been building the church, but they was having church in the basement or somewhere in the church, but it wasn't in the actual sanctuary because they was still building that part. But so he had a groundbreaking service for the actual sanctuary, and it was October 1st or whatever. And so I had came across that flyer, and I heard God like clear as day, like, you need to go to that service. And I'm like, so whole time this is around the time that I had got served the eviction, because like I said, I got served at the end of September. I think I seen the flyer. So I seen the flyer way before I was served an eviction. This is way before. I think I seen that flyer like around probably July, August or something, right? And so I screenshot it. And when I screenshot it, it was for the purpose of me trying to find a home church. So before COVID, I was going to this church called Inspirational Deliverance. And I was in the choir and everything. I was a soprano in the choir. And when COVID had happened, I pretty much stopped going to that church because everything was shut down for a little minute. And I didn't like the way they handled the situation as a church, but whatever. Like, everybody feel like, I don't even want to go into all that, but nonetheless, I was seeking God about, should I stay at this church? Should I go back after COVID lifts or whatever the case may be? And I pretty much received a no. Like, I had dreams and everything about the pastor and all. So I ended up not going back to that church, and I had not found the church since then, because I'm very picky with churches that I go to. I like to make sure that it's that I'm under the right, how can I put it? I want to make sure that I'm under the right congregation. I don't want to be under a congregation of people that's messy and they really not, the power of God ain't really in there for real, because you ain't gonna get no deliverance like that. You ain't, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't trying to pretty much get led astray. So after I left that church after COVID, I pretty much ain't found another home church. So I seen this Marcus Rogers flyer, and I'm like, okay. I said, Lord, I'm gonna go to that service, and I'm gonna see, you know what I'm saying, how it worked out or whatever. I'm gonna see what it's feeling like up in there. If I feel the Holy Spirit, if I'm feeling it, that's gonna be my home church. Because I really was, like, on a journey to, at this particular time, because God was steady, like, warning me that I need to pretty much get back focused on Him when I was dealing with this particular guy. But I was, like I said, I wasn't trying to really hear it. You know what I'm saying? So I seen this flyer before I was served an eviction in September. And so he had put another reminder out about the groundbreaking service. And I was like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. And so when I seen it, it was October 1st. And so at this point, I had been served my eviction notice, and then I was served the court date. And like I said, my court date was October 3rd, and my lease was up October 4th. So I hear God say clear as day, like, make sure you need to go to that service. So now I'm like, okay, Lord, in the midst of me going through an eviction, October 1st comes, right? And I kid you not, that day when it came, I'm like, okay, Lord, I'm going to go. I'm still having faith that God going to work the situation out. Like, Lord, I know you're going to provide a way. I'm still looking for places. I had found this brand new construction complex. It was like pretty much townhouse structure as well, but it was apartment homes. I found this new place like 15 minutes away from where I was staying that they had just opened. The guy was very nice. He was willing to work with me. I had found a townhouse with 3 floors in it, and it was for rent for like $2,500 or something like that. And I knew I couldn't afford it, but I knew I couldn't afford the place that I had was getting evicted from either. But God saw me through for almost 4 years in that place until I went through that situation and got myself evicted or whatever. And so I'm believing God to get this new townhouse. Like, okay, Lord, I'm gonna just move over here. Like, the man was really nice. I was telling him about, so around this time, okay, so when I first was going through the eviction process, or not the eviction, before the eviction was served, when I was looking for places trying to beat the eviction before they actually served me, I wasn't being honest. I was going and applying for places. Like I said, my cousin was making check stubs for me and writing recommendation letters as if I worked for her company, saying that I got paid like over 3 times the rent, because if, let's be realistic, these places want people to make 3 times the rent. So my cousin literally typing this stuff up for me. Look it out, you feel me? Trying to pretty much beat the system, right? And so nothing was working out, nothing. And so now at this particular time, this particular place with the actual townhouse, and the guy was willing to work with me. He was saying like my credit had to be at a certain point. At this particular time, my credit was in like the low fives, okay? Like it had plunged. Okay, now my credit wasn't there before, but during this whole time that I was, like I said, staying in this particular complex, and I left my job in 2021, and I had to weigh my bills over my credit cards, and like, you know, things just kind of started going downhill with my credit or whatever. And so my cousin, she was going to co-sign for me or whatever. And so, like I said, stuff started pretty much going left with her, and she wasn't able to do it anymore. She was saying that she had some stuff going on with her business to where she couldn't get her credit ran and blase, blase. And so I kind of started getting frustrated, because I'm like, okay, Lord, I keep getting denied. But in the process, I'm not going to lie, I've met some very great people during this process, okay? And so, I had applied for court-based rental assistance, okay? And so, of course, the complex I was staying in, they rejected it. They said that they was not able to accept it because they was not willing to, you know, renew my lease or continue me staying there. And so once the rental assistance is rejected, it then turns into I forgot what the name of the program is, but pretty much if the place that you're currently living in does not want the assistance to pay the back pay and forward, then they will pay 3 months ahead on a new place, right? So you will have 3 months to look for a new apartment, and they'll pay 3 months ahead for that new place. And so once it was rejected, once they didn't respond. And so the rule is after 20, I think 21 days, if they don't get a response from the actual landlord, then that's when they switch it to the other program, which is to help you get a new place. And they'll pay towards a new place rather than the current place. And so, like I said, I was reminded of the groundbreaking service for Marcus Rogers Church October 1st. And so the day of, I'm like, okay, Lord, I had a very open mind, positive mindset. I'm like, Lord, I'm finna go to this church. I'm finna see what it's looking like. And, you know, that's gonna be my new place or whatever. But so when I went to so that day, like everything was going wrong. My baby had made me mad that day. I had whooped him to the point where I was like super, super frustrated and irritated. And I wanted to be there on time, but I ended up, by the time when I got done giving my son a whooping, I had pretty much got irritated and didn't want to do nothing for the rest of the day. God nudged me again, like, no, go, like, you need to go. And so the service started at like, I want to say 3 p.m. And when I looked at the clock, it was after 3. But I went anyway, and it was so much traffic, but I went anyway. I think it was on a Saturday. Maybe it was Sunday. I don't remember what day. Matter of fact, I'm going to look at the calendar and see exactly what day it was. So it was on the Sunday. Okay, so this was Sunday. So I guess it was after his regular service, and then he ended up having the groundbreaking service. And so I got there, and I kid y'all not, bro, when I was pulling up on the block, it was still, even though I got there, it was like after 4 when I got there. And so as I was pulling up, when I tell y'all, bro, it was so many cars on this block. Like, it was on like a side block, on the west side of Chicago, like far west, like hit like kind of northwest or whatever. But like it wasn't really no parks or whatever. And so I'm like, dang. So as I'm approaching the church, I'm like, dang, I know it ain't finna be no parks in front of the church. But when I tell y'all, I pulled up and I'm seeing all these people walking in still, even an hour and a half after the service started, it was a parking space right in front of the church. That may seem so minor to y'all, but when I tell y'all, God had a spot for me right in front of the church. Because when I tell y'all, if it wouldn't have been no spots, I was finna leave. So I pull up, I instantly start thanking him like, thank you, Jesus. I see you. I hear you already. You gave me a VIP spot right in front of the church. Man, you, it's cars blocks down. People walking from blocks down. And so as I approach the church, instantly I feel the Holy Spirit. I'm still in the car, bro. I get out the car, start walking up to the church, bro. I instantly get to crying. Because I could feel his spirit, like, oh my God, like I just started crying. So I walk in, and then they like, hello, how are you? Are you here for the groundbreaking service? I'm like, yes. And they like, is this your first time? I'm like, yes. They're like, welcome. So they end up giving me like this little brochure or whatever like that. I, shook their hand and all that, wrote my name in the visitor's book. And then it was literally nowhere to sit. Like when I tell y'all we was like standing up, I'm like in a club. Like that's how many people was. It was so crowded. And so I couldn't even really get in the spirit, like, because it was just so much distraction going around. Like I just feel like it was a lot of people that was there to kind of like see. But I really went there to feel the spirit, to hear from God. Like, Lord, is this the place that you want me to be? Like, do you want me to come? Because like I said, I was looking for another church home. So, boom, service going on. They doing a lot of, praise and worship. So they praising and worship. They singing. And so, like, it was points where I was about to break down and cry again because, like, I could feel the spirit. Of course, I was going through stuff already with the whole eviction thing. So my emotions was kind of like, I was trying to hold it in, but like I was going through a lot, right? And so my baby sitting down, he sat down and I stood up because somebody ended up getting up and the seat became free. So I let him sit in the seat. So the pastor, Marcus Rogers, he kept walking to the back. And it's like he kept walking past me. And I'm like, stay looking. And he just walking, it ain't. But I just felt like, I don't know, I just felt like he intentionally kept walking back there or something. I don't know, maybe not. But he walked back there a few times and kept walking right past me. Because I ended up standing right in front of, I guess, his office door or something. I didn't realize that was his office until then. But then, I'm all the way in the back of the church, about like where the cameraman was at. And so he went back to the altar and they still praising and worshiping. But like he was standing like directly in line with me. And it's like I was looking dead at the stage. But like my vision, like I could see, but like I can't. Like so far away, I'll be trying to see the face expressions, like, is they staring at me? And so it's like we was literally like in line with each other. And I just feel like he was staring through my soul, like he knew God sent me there or something. Because when I tell y'all God sent me to his church, and it's crazy because he sent me there for a word. He ain't sent me there, you feel what I'm saying, to join. He sent me there for a word, bro. Like literally. So they ended up, after they got done worshiping or whatever, he was like, okay, we about to get into the word. Y'all go ahead, all the kids, I forget what age he said, I think 12 and under. He told all of them to go to the kids ministry or whatever. And so they pretty much went to the babysitter. And so, because they needed to free up space because it was literally nowhere to sit. So then a lot of space cleared up and I ended up going to sit in it was kind of like the middle row. So like the aisle that where the door was at, that kind of separated the front from the back. I sat right on the front row of the back section. So I was close or whatever, pretty much kind of close, but I was by the doors where you enter in at. And so he started preaching the word or whatever. And so then this pastor had stood up or whatever and pretty much was saying like he that Marcus Rogers had so much more money that he needed to pay off the church. And long story short, he ended up putting out an offering out there for people to like sow. And when by the time he got done getting people to volunteer to sow, Marcus Rogers church was paid off, bro. The balance that he had left was paid off just off the people who sold within that 10 minutes of of being obedient. And I instantly start like praising God and breaking down, crying for him out of happiness. Like I was purely happy for him or whatever. And so after that had happened or whatever, that same pastor was pretty much saying like, have you ever wanted to speak in tongues or whatever the case may be? And then he was like, if you want to receive the evidence of speaking in tongues and blase come up here. And so I don't know how to speak in tongues, and I've never really had the desire to want to know how to speak in tongues, but I'm like, well, sure, I want, let me go up here and believe God, to speak in tongues. And so I had went up there, and I was just up there, I was praising God. So then I instantly feel the Holy Spirit, and I started breaking down. And like I literally was trying to resist, but it got to the point where I really couldn't help it. And then I like just kind of started like kneeling down and like kind of like, crying out, screaming out or whatever. And so I just kept saying, thank you, thank you. Like whatever I was saying in that moment, I was thanking God and praising God. And so I had felt this touch on my shoulder, like on this shoulder. And the touch was like, it was just something about the touch. It was just like a very soft, it was like a very soft touch, like I felt it on my shoulder or whatever. And so when I felt the touch, the person started praying. They just kept saying like, that's right, let it out, or whatever the case may be. And so, I'm just, I'm breaking down, I'm praising. And they were saying some other things over me. I can't really remember because I was in the moment, but then they left. So I'm still up there praising him or whatever, thanking him. And then this same touch, I feel it again on my shoulder. And then I hear the person ask me, they say, have you been prayed for yet? And then I pretty much looked at her, and I said, yeah, because I thought the person who had just touched me like shortly before was praying or whatever. And so she was like, oh, okay, I just wanted to see if you were praying for it. And so then I kind of went back to like lifting my hands, and at this point my eyes was open, and I was looking at the pastor. It wasn't Marcus Rogers, it was one of his guests. So I was looking at the stage around this time, and I was pretty much looking and praying and like praising and singing along. And so this same girl had came back, and she pretty much was like, do you mind if I pray for you? And I turned around, I looked at her, and I was like, sure. Because, like, I knew she wanted to pray the first time when she came and asked me, had I been prayed for yet? But she, I guess, when I pretty much told her, yeah, maybe the way I delivered it, she kind of just was standoffish, like, I don't know. So she ended up pretty much coming back and asking if she could pray for me. And I'm like, yeah, sure. And so at that moment, she started. So, okay, so she had like put her head down or whatever. And she had, I'm trying to remember, was she holding my hands or was she still holding my, we was facing each other around this time. And so she was just like, okay. And so she was so, I don't know if I'm using the right word, but timid. Like I could tell that she probably had just started walking in this gift, which was prophecy. I could tell that she had just probably just got this position because she was not really confident in it. Like she was just kind of like, okay, so as she started trying to talk to me, the mic went like, how the mics make that loud screeching noise. So like all of a sudden the mic had made that noise. And she was like, oh my gosh, oh my God, that was so loud. I'm so sorry. Yeah, so God wanted me to tell you that he wants you to let it all go. And I instantly brace myself because I was about to start crying. And she was just like, God told me to let you know that he wants you to let it all go. He wants you to surrender it all to him and don't look back. Because if you do, you're going to turn into dust like Saul, like Lot's wife. So if y'all know the story about God bringing Lot and his wife and his family out of Egypt, and his wife looked back, God told them not to look back, and she did, and she turned into she turned into salt or a pillow of salt or something like that. But she pretty much, in other words, died because she looked back, and God told them not to look back. And so she pretty much said that to me, and that was the second time somebody had spoke that over me within like that time frame. And so she said, God told me to tell you to let it all go and trust him, surrender to him, and don't look back, or you'll turn into salt like Lot's wife. And I was just like, and I literally was mad. I couldn't even say nothing. Because literally I'm going through an eviction right now. I'm trying to hold on to everything because I'm worried about how it's going to look when I lose everything. I didn't want to have to start over, you know what I'm saying, forcefully, because I had no choice. I was scared. I didn't know if I was going to be in a position to where I had to stay with a person for the rest of my life or for the next 10 years or whatever. I just was like, I was just trying so hard to hold on and do things in my own power. And God was just like, it's time to let it go. It's time to let it go. And so after that, after she said that, she was just like, well, that's all. That's all. And I just looked at her, and it was just so cute to me because I was just like, she really, like I said, I could tell she wasn't confident in her gift. You know what I'm saying? But God was using her. She was allowing God to use her, but she wasn't really like, that authority wasn't there. Like, you know, some people just got that authority, and not saying that she won't ever have it, but I could just tell, like, she was intimidated of her own gift. Like, she didn't really know how to own it yet. You feel what I'm saying? But even then, she was still being obedient. And so, but she had a very sweet spirit, though. And so I said, thank you. Thank you. And I looked at her and I said, next time God leads you to come pray for me, I said, be obedient the first time. I told her, don't allow, you know, because when I said I had been prayed over already, she should have just came in, period. Like, but you know, that's neither here nor there. That's neither here nor there. But I pretty much told her, I said, walk in your authority. Because you got the gift. You literally just spoke something over me. You don't know nothing about what I'm going through. Like, I'm literally holding on to this place, all type of stuff. I'm going to eviction court in 2 days. And God literally used you, a total stranger, to speak over me. And so anyway, she had told me that Marcus Rogers sent her to pray for me or to speak that over me or whatever. And so after service, I waited, and I went up to the service, and I waited until everybody cleared out, till they got a look. It was still a lot of people, but I needed to talk to him. And so I went up to the altar because I wanted to sow. And at that time, I really didn't even have to sow. Like I said, I was going through eviction, but I wanted to sow. God had led me to sow a certain amount. And so I didn't hear the guy when he gave the Cash App information. I couldn't remember. So I'm like, I'm going to go up there and ask him personally. And so after service or whatever, I waited till everything cleared out. And I kept waiting, and God kept telling me to go, go, go. And so it got to the point where somebody had brought some food in. And he like, man, I've been waiting to eat it. So he was sitting there eating. And so God had sent, he like, go, 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 go. Now's your time. So I went up there while he was eating. I said, I'm so sorry. I'm not trying to come up while you eating and interrupt you. But I just wanted to come up here and meet you personally. And I pretty much told him I had been following him for some years before he even started building the church, back when he was talking about Donald Trump, running for president and all this stuff, and the Antichrist and all that. You know, people thinking he crazy because the stuff he be speaking on or whatever. But so I was pretty much telling him I've been following him for a while, and then I was like, but yeah, I wanted to come up here and meet you personally. So I shook his hand, and he was just like, he looked me dead in my ass, and he said, "So what you think about service?" And I looked at him like, you know something? You know? Do you know? Do you know I came here to? You know I came here to scout you out to see if I wanted to be here or something. Why you asking me that? But I kept it a buck with him. I told him, I said, I literally did just like that. I said, I felt the spirit. The Holy Spirit is definitely in here. I said, but it was a lot of distraction. He said, right, yeah. He said, you right. It was a lot of distraction here today. He said, I think it's because it's a lot of outside people that came, you know, with it being a grand opening. He said, did you come yesterday? Because he had like a couple of days of activities leading up to the grand opening. And I said, no, I didn't. He said, you should have came yesterday. We had a real good time. He said, but I encourage you to come back another Sunday when it's not so chaotic. Like, come on a regular Sunday and see what you think about it then. But it's like he knew that I knew, like, the spirit or something. It was crazy. Like, but he literally asked me, like, what you think? Like, what did you think about service? But I knew he had his eye on me the whole time, because the whole time my camera was peeping. I'm looking at the members, seeing how they moving, like, because like I said, I'm very particular. Like, I don't want to just go to no church and everybody in there messy. Like, I ain't got time for that. Like, that ain't gonna help me stay delivered. Like, I don't want to go to no church where it's people living loud on the outside. And I ain't sitting up here trying to act like I'm perfect, but you got to make sure you got the right people around you, because people can say they believe in God and they is far from him, like, for real. You feel what I'm saying? So you got to make sure you got the right people in your circle, like the right believers in your circle, like, for real. That don't mean that your life gonna be boring. You can't have no personality. God has personality. He created us. You can still be funny, all that. Like, you know what I'm saying? I mean, you gotta walk around like a robot. Oh, I'm so serious. I'm so saved. I can't laugh. It's a sin to laugh. Like, no, that ain't what it is. Like, we still can be ourselves. It's just leave all that foolery up out of it. You feel me? So, anyways, moving on. I went to that church October 1st. Boom. October 3rd comes. Okay. I get to court. And so, I'm trying to remember because I don't want to leave nothing out. So I went to court. I just went. I didn't try to take nothing to plead my case and none of that. I just went. And I prayed about it. And I was just like, Lord, now mind you, my lease was up the next day. So I'm scared. I'm like, Lord, is they going to tell me I'm going to have to leave in 24 hours or what? So I'm like, Lord, look, just give me some time, because I ain't have nothing packed up, y'all. Nothing. Like, I didn't have a box of clothes packed. Nothing. Everything was still in place. I ain't even have a storage. Nothing. I'm just still believing God up until the last drop. The court day, I was still believing in God to turn that situation around. Do you hear what I'm saying? So, I get to court. I was sitting in the courtroom. I had met this girl, and she was telling me, like, oh yeah, she's like, I'm going through an eviction, but I found a private landlord. Do you want the information? Woo woo. I'm like, yeah. So, you know, I take the information down, put it in my phone, and we waiting, like, cause I got that kind of early, and so we waiting in the courtroom, and then this lady comes in, and she says, "Good morning." She was like, so, for those of you guys who are here, if it's your first time, make sure that you go out there, put your name on the paper, blah, 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 blah. Make sure you check in. And she was like, but we want to come in and tell you guys about a new program that started in the county starting October 1st. Mind you, it's October 3rd. She said, as of October 1st, there's a new program for rental assistance. It wasn't the court-based assistance that's through the actual state of Illinois. It was actual court-based assistance through that specific county, right? And so she was just like, it started October 1st, and she was like, we will, so it's similar. She was like, we'll pay the back pay as well as 3 months ahead. And she was like, so If anyone is interested, after you see the judge, you can come see me. I forget her name. I'm gonna just make a name up. Jackie, come see me, Jackie. I'll be in the conference room and we can discuss getting your information to sign you up for the program. And so I'm like, oh, so they got another program. So mind you, I had already signed up for the state's program. And like I said, the complex didn't approve it. And so but they were saying, like, even the lady was saying, even they'll help you get a new place. Like, if you can't, if your current landlord is not willing to take the assistance, they'll help you'll get a new place, or whatever the case may be. And so I was like, okay, I'm gonna go out there and talk to her. And so, like, literally, bro, like, it was still some time before court. No, I'm jumping the gun. Okay, so yeah, I did. So it was still some time before court started. So I had went into to talk to her real quick. And so I think I was probably one of the first ones, or probably the second ones in line. And so I went in and I pretty much introduced myself, told her what I had going on. And I was just like, so how does the program work? And so I told her, I said, well, like, God literally gave me this idea, bro. Like, no lie. I pretty much told her that I applied for the state's program, and they was waiting for my complex to pretty much do their end of the bargain, but they said that they wasn't willing to go through with it. And so the lady pretty much was like, well, we work on the same accord. She was like, so if you ever had got rental assistance before, I would have to go into the system, see that, and then that would pretty much take, because it was like 25,000, up to 25,000 that you can get approved for. And so she was like, if you ever had any assistance in the past, we'll have to still pull from that previous amount, and whatever is left over is what you can be approved for, if you're approved. And so she was like, you just need to prove that you just need to prove she pretty much was telling me certain qualifications and criteria that I needed in order to qualify. And so I had all that in my phone, screenshotted already. And so I was like, I got all that right now. She was like, really? I said, yeah. She was like, well, we can get your application started right now. And so she was like, after you see the judge, just come back and we can start the application here. And then I'll give you my card and we could just keep in touch. And I said, cool. And so then I asked her, I said, well, I said, so can I ask you a question? I said, my complex is not willing to allow me to stay there. I said, but what if I use the assistance? I said, so instead of using the assistance to get a new place, I said, what if I use the assistance to pay my balance? Because I had a balance with my the place I was staying at. And she was like, I mean, no one's ever asked to do that before. She was like, but if you just want us to pay it, and even if they're not allowing you to stay, she was like, that's fine. She was like, I could look into that for you and see if that's able to be done. And I say, yeah, let's do that. I said, I would rather pay them off, use the assistance to pay them off, rather than pay them and then try to stay, or even to try to pay it towards another place. Like, I just don't want that on my credit. And so she was like, yeah, we can definitely look into that. And so she gave me her card, and then I went back out to go back into the courtroom. And so now, boom, court started. They called my name. The lawyer calls me in the hallway. So I'm like, hello. So we go out, step into the hallway. So he let me know my options. So when I tell y'all, bro, God is so good and he is so intentional. I'm stressed about, is they finna tell me I gotta be up out of there by tomorrow? Because like I said, my lease was up October 4th. My court date was October 3rd. I go into the hallway. He says, okay, Ms. Walker, so do you have any other money towards the balance? I said, no. And he said, well, they're not willing to, they're not willing to allow you to rent there anymore. They're pretty much, they denied a new lease and all of that. He's like, so these are your options. He said, either you can fight it and try to get more time to stay there, and make and pretty much come up on the money to pay the balance off. Or he was like, you can be out by October 22nd and we'll seal it. So I was like, what you mean? He said, if you are willing to just throw your hands up, surrender the apartment, and you can agree to be out by October 22nd, we will seal it. It will not be a judgment, nor will it be an eviction on your record. Not in the public records, not on your credit. Now he said the balance will be on your credit once it falls off and the account closes, but it will not be in your public records, which will not hinder me from pretty much getting another place, because it won't show up as a judgment or an eviction. Like, it will literally be sealed. So with it showing up on my credit, it could have been me breaking my lease. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just a balance showing up. They don't know what it was for. But the eviction and judgment part, sealed. The man, like, it won't show up, period. When I tell y'all, I instantly started crying in the hallway. With just thanks, like, wait. So you telling me if I'm out by the 22nd, like, this is not finna affect me? Like, it ain't even gonna show up? It's non-existent? He said, yes. He said, as long as you're out by the 22nd and you keep up your end of the bargain, he said, it's not even showing up right now. He said, but it won't show up at all. He said, as long as you agree to be out of there by October 22nd, the eviction and the judgment never happened. Y'all. I said, oh, yeah. Yeah, baby, I surrender. Y'all can have the place. I ain't trying to fight for it. If you telling me, and y'all giving me 3 weeks, thank you. Yeah, I'll be out of there October 22nd. No problem. And so I ended up going in the courtroom. They called me up to the podium, to the judge. And so I ended up pretty much telling them, like, hey, I surrender. You know what I'm saying? I surrender. And y'all can have that place. If I just need a little bit more time to pack my stuff up. That's all. And so I ended up going into the courtroom, and I pretty much told them, like, yeah, I agreed to it, and I signed my name, and then I left. And so then I ended up meeting up with the lady in the conference room after I pretty much, signed the paperwork. And she took my information. She was like, I'm going to start your application right away. I'm like, okay, cool. And so, boom, I go back to the crib, and I started slowly but surely packing up. But again, I'm still applying for apartments, thinking that I'm going to get a place before I have to move. So I got 3 weeks. So it's really crunch time. So I'm investing all this money into these applications. I'm like, Lord, what is going on? And then, like I said, I was using my cousin, trying to use her as a co-signer for one place, though. But we never got a chance to do the application. But that was the very last place that I attempted. And so I'm talking to this lady the whole time with this court-based assistance. And so she pretty much had told me that if I was to accept, she told me if I was to accept the assistance to pay my balance off, then I wouldn't be able to use the other assistance. Because, again, I had 2 assistances waiting for me. So I had the assistance for them to pay my balance off, because at this point the complex wasn't allowing me to stay there, but they was willing to pay the balance for me, okay, and seal the deal. But then I still had the Illinois court-based assistance that was on hold, that I did initially before I even had court, and met this lady with the new program that was created October 1st for the county. And so they had ended up calling me. So they ended up calling me October 18th, okay? Mind you, my court date was October 3rd. I got a call October 18th. And the lady pretty much told me that my application passed the deadline for my complex to do their end of the application. And because they did not agree, now it turned into the other program, which was them helping to pay 3 months ahead for a new place. And so the lady called me, a caseworker called me, and she was just like, hey, just got your application, and we see that the complex did not do their portion, so now you're switched into a new program to where we'll pay for your new place rather than your current. And she was like, she left a message, and so on my voicemail I'm singing be encouraged, the church song, which they had been on my voicemail for years, but the lady pretty much was telling me how much it blessed her. Now this October 18th, 4 days before my move out date. And she pretty much was like, you were approved for the 3 months assistance towards a new place. So please give me a call back so we can move forward with the application. And you have until, I think I had until like January from the date that it was approved. So she told me I had until January something of 2024 to find a place to get that 3 months. And I'm like, so now not only do I have the county assistance as to where the lady is about to pay the balance of the place that I was leaving. She was gonna pay the balance that they was reporting to the court. Not only did I get approved for that, but I also had got approved to get 3 months towards a new place. So I had 2 assistants working with me, right? And so the lady that I met at court pretty much confused me. It was just like, I can only do one or the other. And so at that point, I'm like, well, shoot, I'm not finna not use the 3 months towards a new place if, you know what I'm saying, I can only do one or the other. So I pretty much was like, all right, Lord, I'm going to just let that balance go on my credit in, because why would I turn down 3 months towards a new place? You know what I'm saying? And so, long story short, bro, God told me literally, like, look again. Call that lady again. So I ended up calling the lady that I met at court. And I asked her, I broke it down again. I say, so you're telling me that if I accept the assistance, because when I tell y'all they was, okay, so I'm going to just be real transparent with y'all. So my balance, because again, my rent was over $2,000. It was a little over $2,000, close to, it was like $2,150, okay? So just within them couple of months and with them court fees, my balance was at like almost $12,000, okay? Like literally. And so the lady had told me, based off assistance that I had gotten in the past, from when I told y'all about how God had pretty much blessed to pay my rent up before in this same place a couple of years back. She told me that I was pretty much approved for close to like $11,000. Okay. And so she said, so we can pay up to $11,000 of the balance, and the rest of the balance you'll have to pay. So I'm like, okay, that's fine. I'll pay it when I can pay it. You know what I'm saying? As long as y'all pay the bulk, that's over 95%. So that's cool with me. And so, I talked to the lady that I met at court, and she pretty much was like, oh, no. She said, so she pretty much said, if we pay your balance, she was like, that other program for the 3 months, that's totally different from this program. So she was like, it actually would not subtract from the $11,000 that we're approving you for. That'll be 3 months separate money from the state. So I'm like, oh, so now at this point, I didn't moved out at this point. I called the lady back after I moved out. So after I had moved out on the 22nd of October, God like called the lady back. So I called the lady in like November. I want to say like the beginning of November. Now in the beginning of November, this is when I had picked my cross up and started like surrendering to God, like fully. And when I pretty much gave the guy that I was dealing with up, like, Lord, okay, you can have him and everything else. And when I picked up my cross and said, okay, God, I'm gonna surrender and I'm gonna obey you and I'm gonna do whatever you want me to do. This was literally in the beginning of November. And so around that time, my stomach is growling. I hope y'all cannot hear that. So around that time, God reminded me about the court based assistance to pay my balance off. And he like called the lady back. And so I did. And so when I called her, she was like, oh, well, the case is closed now, so I don't know if we'll be able to like do it now. She's like, but you'll have to do it all on your own. Like, you would have to do the work and call and, blase. And so I ended up going into the office because I was still staying over there, like I said, with a friend. And I was helping her with a restaurant, and my baby was still going to the school on the premises. So I had went into the office and pretty much talked to the manager, and I was like, listen, I said, I know that I can't, well, at this point I moved out, like, what I'm saying, but like, I'm trying to pay the balance. Like, they're willing to pay it still, even though the case is closed. And so the lady pretty much was like, oh yeah, well, yeah, that's fine. You can give her my information, the property manager. So I put it together. I put them in contact, and baby, around not Christmas. Yeah. So like around this is like around December-ish. Or was it Thanksgiving? I know it was like end of November-ish, beginning of December. So I pretty much put the property manager in contact with the lady that worked with the state, with the courthouse. And so they had exchanged information, and the lady cut the check. The lady cut the check for close to $11,000, sent it, and paid my balance down. So when I tell y'all, God literally got me out that gym, like literally got me up out that gym. When I tell y'all, I was going to let that assistance go down the drain, because when the lady pretty much was like, oh, you can only choose one or the other. You can either get your balance paid off or you can use the 3 months. And again, these was two different people, two different programs. She was just speaking on the other program because she thought it was the same. She thought it was under the same umbrella. Now, yeah, it still come from the government, but it wasn't under the same umbrella, so to speak. And so when she realized that, she was like, oh, I misunderstood. But like, no, you actually can get both assistances or whatever. And so from that point on, and whole time I'm trying to get to 3 months ahead, and God like, baby, you trying to get 3 months ahead and you not even finna be able to use it. You ain't finna be in Illinois. You finna be out of Illinois. You can't use that 3 months towards nothing else but Illinois, and you ain't even finna be here. And so again, I didn't realize that I was moving out of state until around October. I mean, not October, I'm sorry. I didn't know I was moving out of state until pretty much January. Towards the end of January. And mid-January. And so the assistance expired mid-January for the 3 months ahead. And so the assistance I had until mid-January, and so that deadline had pretty much passed. And so I was kind of like stressed about it, because I'm like, dang, Lord, I really could have used that 3 months towards a new place. And so during this process, right? Okay, so boom, God literally put me in a position to get my balance paid down. Now, again, it was in the 12,000s. Right now, it's a balance under 2,000 on my credit. Like, it's like in the thousands or whatever. Like, but it was in the 12s initially. So they ended up paying the balance down by 11,000. Okay. So boom, this little bitty balance on my credit, it ain't on my public record. It ain't on my credit. I mean, it ain't showing up as no eviction, it ain't showing up as no judgment, like it's wiped away. And so, and even when you look up my credit, it don't even look like it's an apartment complex, which is crazy. But again, God cleaning that thing up, like literally came through for me, bro. And so I was gonna play the voicemail from the lady that left a voicemail from the state calling about the 3 months ahead program. She pretty much was just saying how like my voicemail had blessed her, and she even started singing at the end, y'all. She started singing. I'm finna fast forward it. Hold on.
This message is for Tiara Walker. Miss Walker, you just...
Hold on. I didn't want my last name to be on there. Let me fast.
Questions about the document requested to 5 p.m. And yes, ma'am, you have to encourage yourself. Thank you for that. And you have a beautiful voice. I wanted to join in on that song, but as you can tell, my voice is very healthy. Sometimes you have to encourage. Thank you, Miss Walker. You have a very, very blessed day. Thank you for that song.
So this lady, literally, and so this is the if you could see, the message was left October 18th. And so that lady left that voicemail, and so I ended up calling her back. No, she called me back because it was an unknown number. It was showing up private. And so she ended up calling me again, and I picked up. And she like, hello. I was like, hey, how you doing? And she was like, I just want to let you know. So she pretty much reiterated about the voicemail and how my voice is beautiful and how I really made her day. And so I was pretty much telling her, like, you know, thank you for letting me know that I was approved for the other program since the complex pretty much didn't accept the assistance from y'all. And she was like, yeah, she was like, so, you know, you got 3 months to look for a place. Then after that, it expires. And I was pretty much telling her, like, okay, well, I'm trying, but I keep getting denied. And one, she pretty much spoke encouragement over me and was just like, don't worry about it. She like, God is going to work it out. God got you. She was like, just keep trying. Don't give up. And I was like, thank you so much. And she was like, you be blessed. She was like, and you make sure that you keep looking for that place. And she was like, don't forget you got into January. And I was like, okay. And she was like, and I'm going to be in touch with you. And I was like, okay. And then that was that. And so January rolled around. And so when God pretty much started revealing to me that I was finna move out of state, I'm like, okay, maybe I could use it for out of state. And then the deadline had passed, and he was just like, girl, let that blow over. That is done. Like, don't worry about that assistance. Don't even worry about that. Like, that is done. Like, you got what you needed, which was that other program that paid for my balance pretty much. And that's all that I needed, because I don't have that large balance lingering on my credit. And so, boom. Around the time that I was looking for places, now this is when I had moved in with the friend. I don't want to call her friend, but the associate that lived in the complex as well, the lady who I was helping with her restaurant. So when I was staying with her, like, God just placed it on my heart to start trying to look for a house. Like actually buy a house. And so I ended up meeting this lady in an Uber, and her daughter was a realtor. And so she gave me her daughter's information, and I spoke with her daughter, and her daughter was just like, I'm gonna help you out, because I was telling her everything that was going on. And so then I had kind of lost contact with her for like a month or so, a couple of months. And then so once I had went through the eviction process, I reached out to her again and told her like I went through an eviction and blase. That's why I haven't been in touch or whatever. And so she was like, I'm gonna put you in touch with one of my colleagues who can help you with getting your credit together and woo out the ma'am. And she was like, I'm gonna just put you in touch with him. So she gave me the man's information. Why I call this man? And he get to telling me like, okay, let me get you pre-qualified and woo woo. And when I tell y'all, I told him, because mind you, I was using my cousin's business. So I ended up giving him the name of my job. And he was like, oh, he was like, what's the name of the people who own that business? And I told him. He said, oh, really? He was like, how do you know them? And I said, I didn't tell him that I didn't tell him that was my cousin initially. But he was like, that's crazy because that's my sister-in-law. I'm like, really? So I met this stranger in the Uber who hooked me up with her daughter, who hooked me up with her colleague, who her colleague is my cousin's brother-in-law. And I'm like, oh my God, the world is so freaking small. And so he was just like, yeah, that's my cousin-in-law. Like I'm married to, I forgot who he said it was, but oh no, no, sister-in-law. I forgot who he's married to, but just know that they was freaky. The guy who was getting my credit together, the loan officer or whoever, whatever his title was, he was related to my cousin by marriage. And so he pretty much like, oh yeah, we finna get you situated. Don't even worry about it. We're gonna get you a house in no time. And so he pretty much was he ran my credit. And let me tell y'all something. Now, mind you, I'm looking for apartments before I even got served an eviction. And I was getting denied because my credit score was like in the low fives. Bro, he ran my credit and I literally was 1 point off for the minimum to be approved for a house. My credit has shot up. Now, mind you, my cousin had put me on her card as an authorized user before. But all of a sudden, my freaking credit has shot up. And it was in the sixes. From low fives to mid sixes. And he was like, oh, I can get you approved for a no money down loan for a house without the bank. I like, oh my God. So now I'm like, I'm finna get a house. And then God just took the desire away to want, because like I literally, bro, all I needed to do was get my credit up to like 2 points. 2 more points. That's it. I had one little funky credit card that I needed to pay off. Bro. God took it away. He said, no, don't look for a house. Don't get no house in Illinois. That's not what I want you to do. And so I just stopped contacting the guy because like literally God took it away. Like, no. Now I'm glad you see that you are able to get approved for a house. But no, that ain't what not there. Not there. And so from that point on, that's when I left the lady's house that I was staying at for a couple of weeks, straight out of me moving out of my place, and I went into the motel and I was staying there. And that's when God started pretty much revealing to me that he wanted me to actually relocate. And so yeah, so that is pretty much the gist of how God so that's pretty much when God had pretty much told me to move out of town. And from that point on, I pretty much started praying and seeking him as to exactly where. Because I like I said, I thought I knew where he wanted me to go, but that was not the place that he wanted me to go to. And so yeah, so that is all, y'all. I know this video, I did not want this video to be this long. That was not my intentions. This was supposed to be a quick video. But yeah, I kind of went all over the place. But y'all, let me tell y'all, I was like, Lord, when I was going through this whole eviction process, when I was trying to look for a place or whatever, I'm like, hey, my little boo was finna come in town. Like, we had plans. Like, he was about to literally come and spend a couple of days with me. And when I tell y'all, I had just got this bed in the beginning of the year. Honey, I had just got this brand new bed. I had just decked my room. I'm talking about room looking like the boom boom room. Okay, I had a circle bed, circle platform bed. I had the lights coming down with the I gotta find the picture now. Baby, it was groovy, okay? And he was about to come visit me, and I'm like, Lord, listen. When I found out I had to move, I'm like, Lord, I need a new place so when he come, we could get it cracking. Like, don't do me like this. Like, he gonna come here and all my stuff just gonna be packed up in storage, get dusty. Like, no, don't show me out like that. Like, Lord, I need a new place before he come back and visit me. I was worried about the wrong stuff, y'all. Look, this is my bed, y'all. And those who follow me on Facebook know this is my bed. Okay. Now, all last year, I had been to visit him a bunch of times, a few times, but he had not came back to my house yet to explore my brand new bed. Like, I ain't even break the bed in. Like, y'all, I'm being silly, but no, for real. I was like, Lord, I was so focused on making sure I had a new place by the time he came to see me again. Cause, like, how I'm finna explain to this nigga that I've been coming to see him. I mean, I'm sorry, he not a nigga. I say nigga a lot, y'all. I'ma stop though. How I'm finna explain to this guy that I've been coming to see you and I'm going through an eviction all this time. Like, he didn't know nothing. I'm just walking around smiling, having, like I ain't got nothing going on. Hadn't it well. So yeah, but anyways, y'all, God definitely got me out that jam. Cleared me of over $11,000 in debt, bro. $11,000. I know that sounds crazy. I'm telling y'all, bro. Don't get behind on your rent, especially if it's high. It adds up quick. It adds up quick. I don't know how I got that high to this day. I be like, dang. And it was only like a few months, but yeah, them court costs and all that stuff. Yeah. So, anyways, but God looked out for me and left me with under $2,000 in debt. Like, literally, like, I don't know what the balance is, but I ain't even worried about it because he gonna wipe that little balance away too. I'm believing in him for that. So yeah, y'all, I just wanted to get on here and give y'all that story about how God literally cleared me of an eviction, bro, and a judgment. Like, it ain't nowhere to be found. By the grace of God, he literally cleared me in my mess. He covered me in my mess. And like I said, he placed me there. Like, he very much well could have put it on them people's heart to allow that assistance and allow me to renew my lease. But he knew he was closing that door for something better. He was closing that door to relocate me to where I currently am. And like, y'all, I'm so excited. I cannot wait until he releases me to tell y'all where I'm at. And to, like, just let y'all know how he pretty much revealed it to me, y'all. Because it is crazy. Like, it's the way he revealed it to me. Like, can't nobody tell me that God is not real, bro. They can't. And I pray that my channel is encouraging you guys. I pray that my video is encouraging you guys. Like I said, I will be making a video. I said in the last video, I'm going to make a video about how God will provide through your wilderness. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up because this video again was longer than I expected it to be. I was kind of all over the place, but I hope that y'all were following me. If you made it this far, thank you. God bless you for sitting here and listening to me blabber, because I definitely been going all over the place and just blah 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 blah. And yes, I appreciate y'all for tuning in, for subscribing. Please continue to tune in, like the video, share them. Bring your friends along and have them subscribe to. Be a blessing to somebody today. Don't allow nobody to steal your joy. Again, if you don't know God, I encourage you to get to know him. He's he's all that you need. Like literally. Literally. Like he's the roadmap to life. Like for real. Like just me, this me moving out of town. Like this was a huge move of faith for me. Like y'all don't even understand, especially for this to be a place that I didn't even want to come to. And like when I tell y'all, God has been, his hand has been on me. Like it's been on me. And so yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and end this video. Like I said, I pray that this blesses you. I pray that this encourages you. Don't give up on God. Even if it gets frustrating. I'm not trying to sit up here and act like everything peaches and cream. Like it can be stressful. But you just gotta keep your eye on the prize and believe that God gonna see you through. And he ain't gonna give you too much that you could bear, that you can't bear. All right. So y'all have a blessed one. See y'all in the next video. Bye.